Hi guys, this is Chelsea with CS Apex Landscape Design. So I wanted to come to you quick with this video because I've received a lot of questions, a lot of texts about, oh no, there's a freeze coming. What should we do to protect our plants? All right, here's a couple of really quick tips. So one, no need to panic. In reality, it's April 15th. It's the middle of April. Yes, some of the plants are starting to wake up. Yes, you have some buds forming. But the reality, if you planted the right plants that are appropriate for our zones, appropriate for our areas, they will get through this. They're not quite fully up. It's not like those late May storms that we all too often have gotten the last couple of years. We're not looking at a situation like that where the plants are up, they're fully flowered out, they're fully budded out, now they're going into stress. You are going to have some stress in your plants because of this freeze, but it's not a long lasting freeze. We're already supposed to be warm again next week. It's just a couple of days. But there are a few things that you could do. So, first off, don't panic, it'll be okay. If you have potted plants, if you have newly planted items, what you can do is you can put down an old sheet, you can put down some towels. You can give them a little bit of a layer. Now, I caution about using towels versus a sheet is because towels, if they have any sort of moisture on them, if they get wet, they get heavy. And they can start breaking those plants. They can start breaking your new tender perennials, your tender shrubs. So if towels is all you've got, use them. Wrap your pots, definitely. If you have pots, wrap those pots just to keep that soil just a little bit warmer through this freeze so it doesn't have a hard freeze. With the sheets, they're nice and light. If they get any moisture on them, they're going to freeze, which it just adds just that much more of a protective layer on top of all these plants. Your goal is to not completely shelter these plants. Your goal is just to take the edge off. So, anything you can do to take that edge off. Again, I recommend old sheets. Sheets, you can easily wash them later. They stay light enough that they're not going to break anything. Now, trees. And most often, admittedly, I hear about these panics. I get the panic text, panicked Facebook message for our fruiting, our budding trees. Here's what I'm going to say about that. Again, it's mid-April. We're not talking about May, where everything is fully budded out. No matter what you do, and I can't say that enough, no matter what you do, you will lose some buds. I'm sorry. Whether you're putting a sheet over it, whether you're putting a tarp over it, whether you're putting something over your tree, it's going to knock off those tender buds because they're really tender right now. They're meant to start flowering out. Now, we still have another couple weeks, up to a month, before things totally start flowering out, fully budding out. If you're worried about it, I still recommend a sheet. Tarps, kind of the same thing that happens with towels. They can get really heavy. The goal is just to lightly insulate and keep the temperatures above freezing, not to completely warm up that tree. Because what you also don't want to do is you don't want to remove that tarp, you don't want to remove that sheet, and now, oh, it's 50, 60 degrees, it's nice, but oh my goodness, now your tree is suddenly used to 80 degrees, it's fully flowering out. It's not ready for that. We're still too early for that. So just do enough to protect, not enough to fully warm up. Now, I've heard the argument of, well, rewrap your trees. If you've already taken off the tree wrap, again, we're not looking at a long freeze. We're looking at a couple of cold nights. We're looking at a couple of cold days. You want that bark to already be hardening up to get ready for our hail season, to start getting ready for our summer heat. So don't rewrap your trees. I know it's a little controversial. Don't rewrap your trees. The tarp, blanket on top, I generally don't recommend it in April just because I feel like you're going to lose more buds taking on and off that tarp, taking on and off that sheet, than you would if you just let it go through a couple of days of, it's a little cold. It's controversial. This is 100% my opinion. It is not a horticultural fact. If you're to do it, know you need to be careful. Your plants are tender right now, which I get. That's part of why you want to cover them up, why you want to protect these new guys. Plants are a little more resilient than we want to think. It's mid-April. They're not out of dormancy yet. So, if you don't do anything and we get snow, shake off that snow as soon as it's done snowing. You don't need to go out there while it's snowing and be shaking the tree, shaking your perennials, shaking your shrubs constantly. No, what we want to just do is take off that weight. So shake your trees, shake off those perennials, get that heavy snow off of it. You don't need to do it during the storm, but right after the storm, shake them off. In reality, that little bit of moisture, that little bit of extra snow is actually going to help insulate your plants as well. It's just another insulation factor. Now, I'm not going to say, and I've heard this before, that you go and spray down all of your plants so they form this nice ice layer. Now you're risking the same thing of damaging those plants because you now have ice on them. I've heard it, I've seen it done with very, very mixed results. So I would not recommend that. A sheet, towel, those are going to be your best bet. Advantage of the sheets and towels too over like a true thick blanket, comforter, tarp, all of those things. You're going to allow those plants to still breathe. So if by chance we have to go 2 days because the cold just lasts a little bit longer, this low front just sticks around. It's Colorado. We have weird weather. The sheets, those towels, will help things breathe. So you'll still get air movement to your plants. So you won't get molding. You won't get some of those nasty effects of not having airflow. So there's my 2 cents. Biggest takeaway I want you to take. Don't panic. It's okay. Frosts happen. Freezes happen. It's April. It's not May. We will be okay. If you want to do something, cover with a sheet, cover with something light. You're just trying to stay above the freezing point. You're not trying to warm up your plant. There's my 2 cents. Good luck, happy gardening, and of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me, let me know.